Hello, loved ones. I want to talk to you today about our sense of enoughness and our sense of sufficiency and self-worth. Now, not everybody turns to the Bible or even any religious scripture for a sense of well-being or a touchstone. I do. And one of the texts that I return to frequently is Isaiah 58:10 through 11, where we're told, "If you pour yourself out for the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then shall your light rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday sun. And the Holy will guide you continually and satisfy your desires in the burned over places, and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters do not fail." That image coming from a desertifying world, a world that was experiencing some significant climate change, and the rain patterns changing, and so more and more scorched over, burned over, dry and desert places becoming the reality, and the value of the spring as life. We're in a world of climate change now, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. And whether we have sufficient rain or not, we might feel very dry and burned over indeed. We might feel cold and frozen and freezer burnt and used up. That sense of being used up or not being sufficient to what the day is asking of us is so common. It's a long human tradition. It might be a fairly new experience for you, and it might be a repeated experience. And what I know from talking to others is that it's fairly common for folks to want to flail against that. In my tradition, which is the Unitarian Universalist tradition, we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. That is, in the middle of you, somewhere, something, some part of you is worthy. And you deserve love, to be loved, and you have love to give. Dignity is one of those things that can be clawed at by political and social ills. And yet, when dignity is fundamentally something about what we inhabit. And it starts in that place that I indeed matter. I matter enough to be here right now because I have love to give. I have suffering to ease. I am not just able to do things, but this world needs my presence for my energy and for greater well-being. When our work is stripped away from us because we're not deemed essential workers, or we're living with hidden or visible chronic illnesses or disabilities that prevent us from being able to go out and work in a pandemic, then that sense of lack, that sense of worthlessness, that may be a very old script we've learned from a very young age, can come back. So how do we sit with that? And how do we recognize whether it's true or not true? Now, I'll argue that it's not true. It might feel very real, and I've been there, where I'm not sure if I have any purpose, any sense of being. But start with thinking about the beings, the places, and the people you love. And as you draw on those names, those beings, including people, those places that need your nurturance, those spaces, your neighborhood, your community, even your nation or your continent, this world as a whole. Expanding outward into our sense of connectedness reminds us that we are part of the whole, And any one of us gone is a lessening of that well-being, that interconnected web. We belong there just by being born. We belong here. And we have much to care for. This world so very much needs our care. And that might show up in actions that go on outside of yourself. That might involve donations of time and energy or money. And that might involve sitting in meditation or prayer and offering your best energy towards supporting this world. There's a whole lot you can do for advocacy, but don't let your self-worth be tied up in what we can do. First, let us go back to where we are connected, one to another, and then turn and notice that we may pour ourselves out for the hungry and satisfy the desires of the afflicted, that we may nurture this world, and in so doing nurture ourselves. You are here, and you have love to give. You are worthy. This world needs you. So let's get up and find the ways that you can feel that connection and notice how you can ease others' suffering and your own. I hope you have a better, more easeful, and kinder day, both to yourself and to others. And that you might notice that the doing of helping others can, in fact, refill our wells. And you might notice that doing too much beyond what you can usually do may deplete yours, and that you then return to what refills your well, whether it's sacred song, or texts, or meditation, or silence, or sitting quietly, or dancing. Whatever it is that fills you with joy. In this springtime, I might especially sit and practice sitting with Bu Mudra, which takes the peace sign, inserts it in fingers into the ground, touching that earth. And in my case, since I'm not able to get down to the earth, I'm going to touch the sides of my wheelchair and feel my connection to all of being that way as I sit and I breathe. And I know that that breath is part of the whole. May you be well. May you have peace. May you remember you are worthy, and we need you here.